Hi and welcome to Kim Explain, section 2 of why Kikuyus should not trust Raila Odinga. This is part 2. And I want to start by telling my fellow Kikuyus that Raila Odinga is not a man to trust for the sake and reason you are being given by your political masters, Uhuru Kenyatta and his allies. I want to tell you for fact that it is not by mistake that James Orengo, the senior counsel and the legal advisor of Raila Odinga, he is silent. That is not by mistake. It is not by mistake that another lawyer, Otendi Amolo, is silent and is not campaigning for the former Prime Minister Raila Odinga. Where he is and what he is doing is not just a mere mistake that happens without a reason. Raila Odinga knows what he's doing, and he's doing that with a clear mind, knowing that he needs these minds and knowing that these minds are at work. What is he telling you? Raila Odinga is lying to you that he is trusting Uhuru Kenyatta so much, and that is why anachukua watu wa Uhuru Kenyatta ndio wanamfanyia campaign. All the others are very silent. Let me ask you a very simple question. Do you think it is by mistake that one Sabina Chege resigned or put down his or her bid to fight for Murang'a gubernatorial seat so that he can concentrate with making Raila the president in the Raila's campaign secretariat? You think that is by mistake? And you think it is still by mistake that Raila Odinga alitoa wale watu walikuwa karibu na yeye, watu wenye nimetaja wawili, Orengo, Otendi Amolo, na akatoa including his own secretary general. His own secretary general, Edwin Sifuna, is not in the core of the fight for Raila's presidency. The person who is fighting for Raila's presidency is Uhuru Kenyatta. Now, this is one of the promises I'm giving you and the commitment that I'm telling you to save this video for the sake of. On August 10th, 2022, after the election on August 9, a day before, Raila Odinga will not be surrounded by the same people who are surrounding him right now. Why? He will recall his men, his guards, his political guards, hao wenye nataja watatu: Orengo, Otiende, Sifuna, au wote watamzunguka. And right now munaanza kuambiwa ati Raila akona running mate Mkikuyu mwenye ako strong sana kisiasa na in terms of law, that akona Martha Karua will safeguard the interest of the Kikuyus. I'm telling you, Martha Karua is a nobody to Raila Odinga. Raila Odinga has dealt with Uhuru Kenyatta, who is a no-nonsense man and who you cannot predict his next move. Raila Odinga managed to convince him into a handshake, and until today Uhuru feels like he is the one who invited Raila Odinga into a handshake. Raila knew what he was doing. It was not by mistake. Raila has worked with William Ruto. He knows how William Ruto works. And he knew exactly well that after the handshake, William Ruto would resign or would squeeze himself outside Uhuru's comfort room. And William Ruto will go out. Then he will be left with the government to control the way he wants. And that is why Raila Odinga today is the say in almost all the ministries zenye ziko kwa serikali. If you go to the Ministry of Labor, Ministry of Defense, Ministry of Agriculture, mention every ministry, any ministry, and mention even an important ministry, like a ministry of what do we call it? Ministry ya Joe Musheru. He controls even that ministry. A ministry that is at the core of the general election. Now that it will be charged with the responsibility of transmitting transmitting the electoral data. Raila Odinga is in control of that. So this man Raila Odinga is not a fool to be controlled by a woman, however, whatever level that woman occupies. I want to tell you that you are right. Martha Karua is a very strong lawyer, and she is one of the people who cannot act under undue influence, under duress, under conflict of interest. Martha Karua is not such a person. She is a person who has fought for democracy in this country, and democracy has it that everything should be done according to the law and in fair dealings for everyone, without any discrimination. So you cannot drag Martha Karua into working in a way that you want her to work. She will work according to the constitution. Now, one thing you are very sure about is that Raila Odinga cannot follow the constitution after all that fight. 5 times fighting for the presidency to control what himself knows. Nobody knows what Raila Odinga wants to do with the presidency for 5 times. If you do 5 times 5, that is for 25 years Raila Odinga has been looking for this position. So you cannot let Raila Odinga have this position and then come with your own laws, with laws of telling him how you want him to operate. There is obviously that hidden agenda that he has, that he wants to take into or to get into action, to implement, which is not in the constitution. Because if it was in the constitution, Raila has been in the government. He was a co-president to President Mwai Kibaki, the late Mwai Kibaki, may his soul rest in peace. He was a co-president. Whatever he wanted to do, he could do that time. He was also a co-president to President Uhuru Kenyatta, although he has been designed to look like a de facto deputy president. But a deputy president will be charged with the responsibility of a deputy president. But Raila Odinga, having been in command of almost all ministry, including the Ministry of Interior and National Government Coordination, he was obviously not a de facto deputy president. Raila Odinga has been a chief minister, if not a prime minister. Never call Raila Odinga the former prime minister. He's the current prime minister. Now, with all that powers and all that desire to become president of this nation, you think Raila Odinga can sit down and listen to your woman, Martha Karua, whatever she has to say, whatever integrity she bears, whatever good morals she has? You think Raila Odinga can sit down? And to make it worse, we have an agreement between the Azimio coalition party that the decision makers would be the president, the deputy president, and the chairman of the coalition, Uhuru Kenyatta. Raila knows that he cannot, even if he was mad, he cannot give Uhuru Kenyatta another third term to rule in his own term. When Raila himself is serving in his old days, he knows the possibility of having another election and him being in the ballot will be almost impossibility. So he cannot let Uhuru Kenyatta to control his government. He cannot let Uhuru Kenyatta to be making decisions in his own government, which he has formed, even after sacrificing his own men. Although this is not a sacrifice. I'm telling you, this is not a sacrifice. These men, after August 9 general election, the next day when they have rumors that Raila Odinga ameshinda election, they will surround him. And even Uhuru Kenyatta will not access Raila Odinga even through a phone call. Record this and keep it safe, and then produce it on August 11th. You will tell me what will happen. So my fellow Kikuyus, just continue singing Raila, 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 Raila. Continue singing Raila, Raila, Raila Odinga. And you all know that Raila Odinga has a problem with the Kikuyus. At one time, Raila's confidant, one Kalonzo Musyoka, the kingpin for the Akamba nation, said that Mount Kenya will one day sleep like an envelope. Mtatoshana hivi, mutakaa kama plateau. Hivi. You will try to lift up your mouth politically, but nobody will listen to you. You will be this down, and that is obvious. It is coming true. If Raila Odinga becomes president, it will be very difficult for a Kikuyu to get even a ministry, an influential ministry yenye itakuwa kwa serikali. Because after August 9, his men will wake up. Right now, they are somewhere planning something. But on August 9, his men will wake up and they will obviously do the right thing. And that right thing is to plan, coordinate, and manage Raila's government. That cannot be done in Uhuru's presidency. It cannot be done in Uhuru's presence. It cannot be done in the eyes of Martha Karua. 3 months after election, Martha Karua will resign. You all know that, don't you? 3 months after that election, within that period, Martha Karua will be subjected to an environment in which she must resign. So Kikuyus, for the next 50 years, if Raila becomes president, you will never see the government. You will only read the government in the newspaper, just like the other 40 tribes read the national government in the newspapers. The only thing you will have is the majority of members of parliament in parliament. And if all goes according to the plan, Raila Odinga will know how to cover that. So I'm telling you, if there is anybody to elect, I don't know who it is, but I know it is not Raila Odinga for the Kikuyus. Don't be brainwashed. Don't be brainwashed, and don't be brainwashed. Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Kim, and that is my advice to the Kikuyus.